I had intense sorrow, very heavy feeling in my chest, very sorrowful. Started sobbing for no reason. Got home extremely upset, woke my wife up. By this time it was about 1:30 in the morning. Explained it to her and had that like trembling feeling. And that lasted for quite a while. I'd say months. Every time I would talk about the experience, that same feeling would, from being a perfectly jovial mood, if I started to talk about that same feeling would come back to me. That heaviness, the sadness. And
I just wanted to comment on that, Rod. The sadness that he felt that night, this is called radiotelethesis. It means that he was picking up the emotions of the spirit. I remember that the white lady was on the road in front of him, about 40 foot, right?
Right.
And in a second or two, she came right through the car and passed right past Rod here. This is when he felt the feelings of this woman. She doesn't know what's happened to her. She's obviously earthbound. And when she tries to reach someone like myself, when I was filming her that night, what we refer to as black shadow ghosts push her away from anyone who might help her, especially towards Route 59 where Rod had his encounter with her. The man that he had experienced sitting alongside of him was later identified from his description of the man, what he was wearing and so forth, as a man by the name of Buddha, who had been murdered way back around the early 1930s. His body was thrown into the swamp in back of the church. The murderer, thinking that he weighted it down, it would stay down, but the gases from the body had brought it back up, and eventually he was caught and he was executed. So this is what the feelings were that Rod was feeling here.
Now, Rod, have you ever had an experience prior to that white lady episode?
I had nothing like that, but back when I was about, it's been between 16 and 18, I'm embarrassed I can't remember the date now. A good friend of mine had died, and a couple nights after that, sitting in my bedroom, I saw the figure of a woman in front of my windows. So my bed was on this end of the room and my windows were there. And from the light coming in, I could see a woman sitting looking out my bedroom window. And where the window ended, that's where the figure ended. And I choose to believe that that was just a way of saying I'm okay, the person that I know.
Now you got to remember that if you knew Rod, you'd know that he's a very sensitive person.
So
A spirit will pick on a sensitive person because they can project their image to that individual clairvisually and clairaudiently. He being sensitive, using more than the 5 senses, it was easier to reach him. He has a love of nature, of animals and birds, very compassionate person. Now, if I were a spirit, if I were a ghost, I wouldn't go to somebody like you, Tony, you know, hard-hearted. I'd go to Rod here, you know, all kidding aside, I would go to somebody like Rod, and that's unusual because men aren't really that sensitive to begin with. They would rather go to a woman, you know, because they're naturally more sensitive. I hate to say that, guys, but it's the truth.
And more sensitive than men.
That's the way it is,
They
you know.
are, definitely.
But he has a great interest in Indian folklore and everything, too. You know, if you went into Rod's house here, you would see all kinds of Indian artifacts and everything. And when I first met Rod, I realized that he did have this sensitivity. But what really got to me was the time we went to his home the first time.
Yeah.
And he said to Lorraine, "Do you want to go flying with me?" I said, "Flying?" I said, "Well, can I go too?" "Well, you're not ready yet. Not yet."
Really?
Yeah, it would have been hard for me to get off the ground.
What
so, you
happened?
know.
Can you, somebody explain to
I
me what you
guess
meant?
it's
What that was?
astral kind of travel.
They never did tell me where they flew to.
It happened to me. I went on a vacation about 11 years ago. I went out to visit all the canyons out west. And I met someone in between, I think it was in between Bryce and Zion Canyon. We stopped in a restaurant, and there was a woman there, and we were talking, and she said she wanted to do a reading or something on me. And I was like, okay, why not? you know, and she held my hands, and we went out on this like patio, and we just held hands. And in doing that, I was getting visions that we were above the ground, sort of flying. I felt like hawk-like that. And all of a sudden, this woman let go of my hands real fast and said, "I can't do this anymore. You're scaring me."
She said that.
She said that. Now, this was the woman who was supposed to be reading me. You know, to me, it was a great feeling. And that's what Lorraine is talking about. I held her hands and just visualized flying, and she could feel the same thing of the feeling of flight.
Like,
Shaman can do this, you know.
That is nice.
it is. It's
Yeah.
very beautiful, Tony. There.
Alrighty, and that was the last little snippet of the interviews that I had with the Warren family. Short show again tonight. Again, hopefully this next upcoming week, Jason and I will be able to get together and actually do one of the topics, or just a random kind of topic show. We really hope that we can do that, actually. And again, we apologize for taking such extended breaks on you guys, but we do have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of busy work schedules and all that fun stuff. We won't really get into it or try to make excuses, but it is what it is. So hopefully we can get back to a regular show schedule for you guys. Keep everybody entertained, keep everybody laughing. That's what we love to do. Again, come this fall in September 11th and 12th, if you happen to be down in the Lexington, Kentucky area, come over to Scarefest 8. You'll find Jason and I, and even, I believe, Jesse is going to be down there with us. Come find us. We'll be wearing probably some kind of custom shirts for Scarefest that have to do with the radio show. Come find us, chat us up. We'll be more than happy to talk to you guys. We'll probably get you live on some kind of a broadcast, because we're going to try to broadcast for basically the entire time that we're there, Friday and Saturday. So again, if you're in Lexington, Kentucky, September 11th and 12th, come find us at Scarefest 8. Again, apologize for the short show, but it's getting kind of late, and I didn't have a whole lot prepared, so that's what you get. Until the next time, this is David Woolever, and you have been listening to Into the Other Side Paranormal Talk Radio, and we will see you on the other side.